Time Cats, go! It's zombie time!
Meow 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 meow.
It's me, your old pal, Mr. Chode. And I am your moderator tonight for tonight's event. Tonight, two shows will be competing against each other: The Walking Dead and Doctor Who.
And in this corner, his name is John Cena!
Who's John Cena?
I'm sorry, are political debates and wrestling shows not introduced in the same way? Should they be?
I don't
Should
know.
they be?
I don't watch wrestling.
I don't either. I don't know where I got that joke. I may
spend all my time.
be plagiarizing an episode of Fairly Odd Parents. Wait, that was a movie. I may be plagiarizing a Fairly Odd Parents movie. Anyway, on to the show, everybody!
It's me, your old pal, Mr. Chode.
Go away.
No, Mr. Chode?
What?
No, Mr. Chode?
Mr. Chode already introduced the show. We don't need him anymore. Where's my shotgun?
What do you have against Mr. Chode?
That we don't. I like Mr. Chode. He's
Mr. Chode was going to be our debate moderator. No, you don't.
no,
want
no,
Mr.
no,
Chode?
no. I'm sorry, Mr. Chode. Come back. We need you. You are our only hope.
But also, you don't like my Gamergate parody character?
No, I do. I like your Gamergate parody character, and I like Mr. Chode. Bring back Mr. Chode.
It's me, your old pal, Mr. Chode.
Hugs!
Listen, it's time to have a debate.
Okay.
Which show is stronger this season?
Walking Dead.
Is it Walking Dead?
Yes.
Or is it Doctor Who?
Maybe.
For Doctor Who, we will have Rose, my good friend Rose, discuss the show. For Walking Dead, we'll have Josie.
Hi! I'm not friends with Mr. Chode, apparently!
All of my friends, I have sculptures of, made out of fecal matter. I will have to make a sculpture made out of you in fecal matter before I can consider you my friend. And for that, I will have to make room on my shelf. I guess I could get rid of Lifshits. I don't know. The sad part about that is that's actually canonically part of Mr. Chode's character, that he makes sculptures out of poo. I don't know why. It came about during a video game something or other conference earlier this year, and
Okay.
and I just went with it and had him making sculptures in a Wendy's bathroom after he got kicked out. I don't
All right.
know.
All right. So briefly before we begin, can you describe what you want Mr. Chode to look like in case we have listeners who want to make fan art of him? Be very brief because I have a lot to say and I'm sure you do too.
I have never considered what Mr. Chode looks like. Mr. Chode is a 30-year-old is a 30-year-old anime fan who spends all his time masturbating to this is gonna sound odd. He spends all his time masturbating to anime scat porn.
He sounded very troll-like to me, like literal troll.
Yes, he I don't know why I made that character.
Because
I was trying to. I created him as a parody to mock as a parody Gamergate account, and 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 that's and.
well, I love Mr. Chode, and I bet Mr. Chode probably somewhat doesn't dislike me as much. Maybe. Anyway, on to the show. Welcome to
All right. For now, we'll start the debate with each person discussing what happened on their show this week. So, Josie, take it away.
Okay. Doctor Who was a big poopy this week. End of discussion. That was the goodbye, everybody.
You're supposed to be doing
I'm not good at this.
Walking Dead.
Oh, yes.
What happened on Walking Dead?
So, Walking Dead was pretty incredible. So basically they shot the episode like Memento with one plot where the characters are luring a huge horde of zombies down a freeway for some reason, and there's a second plot that's shot in black and white that explains why and how they're doing this. Where did these zombies come from? Where did they come from? Turns out the walls around Alexandria are not actually protecting them. What's actually protecting them is most of the zombies that approach Alexandria fall into a rock quarry. And now there are millions of zombies. Millions. Or at least hundreds of thousands. Just swarming in a rock quarry. And they are about to find their way out. Because the truck's about to fall off. And they're luring the zombies away. And that's happening. And that's basically the whole episode. But there are some stuff that happens too, and Glenn and the guy who tried to kill him become sort of like friends because Glenn can't bring himself to let people die no matter how much of a douche they are, and this guy's all like, wow, this guy treats me with kindness even though I'm a douche. Maybe I should try making it up to him. So like they have to kill these zombies that are in a store on the route that they're taking the horde. And Glenn can't actually figure it out because the store is all boarded up with metal and plastic and shit, and you can't get in. But Nicholas figures it out, and Glenn is all like, "Hey, cool, good guy." Or I think that's what happened. It's been a week since I've been busy this week, so it's been a week and I forgot. But yeah, Walking Dead. I can't really think of any complaints about it. It had a nice simple plot and didn't fuck anything up. Except there was this one guy who was annoying, but he died in the end, so that was cool. And then Doctor Who had some bits in it that
No. We'll let Rose just talk Doctor
right.
Who.
She needs to defend Doctor Who. Right.
All right, Rose, would you like to explain what happened in Doctor Who this week? Thank you, Mr. Chode. All right. So now Josie's built up Walking Dead quite a bit, but let me tell you why last week's episode of Doctor Who is perhaps the single greatest moment of television that we've ever witnessed. And that is because last week's Doctor Who was a crossover with Star Wars.
What?
That's right, a crossover with Star
What?
Wars. Let me explain. Last week, we found out why and what these ghosts were. And as it turns out, General Grievous from Star Wars was behind it. Grievous, the mechanical four-armed Sith Lord, made an appearance, and apparently the Sith know all about the Time Lord, and so General Grievous comes and is responsible for putting this code out there because he wants to make an army of ghosts, for reasons to control the Force. So. And so the Doctor, as you know, the Doctor hasn't had a sonic screwdriver this season, but they correct that in this episode where he creates a sonic lightsaber, and the two have an epic lightsaber battle for like 20 minutes throughout the episode, and it's amazing. The dam breaks and it's flooding, and they're fighting. Doing lightsaber battles while jumping from rooftop to rooftop to escape the flood. It's amazing. It's epic. It's just as amazing as the lightsaber duel from episode 3, and it's incredible. And so what really more is there to talk about than the fact that we have the 12th Doctor doing a lightsaber battle with General Grievous. You can't beat that. And that is exactly what happened. That is exactly. As a matter of fact, I believe that it's nearly word for word that way on the Doctor Who wiki. So if you don't believe me, you can check General Grievous, everyone.
Mr. Chode, can I begin counter arguments, or should I let you?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Embrace the plane.
Okay, I will. I'm doing that. My ribs hurt. I haven't laughed so much in years. That was. Okay, so, I actually laughed so hard that my body temperature went up, and I had to take some of my clothes off because I can't be hot or I get sick. So I had to take my clothes off because I was laughing so hard at that. That was hysterical. And now I'm going to actually start commenting on it. I apologize. I just had to elaborate on that. So, well, for starters, General Grievous is not actually a Sith Lord. He just happens to know how to fight with a lightsaber. 4 of them at once. It is now my headcanon that General Grievous did look like the villain in this Doctor Who episode before he was turned into a robot. Thank you for that. The Doctor Who episode, as you described it, would have been much better. Because the plot in this episode was that the ghosts were randomly used as a form of transmitting radio signals for no reason. No reason is given why ghosts are needed to transmit radio signals. We were hoping that they would be. It is revealed that the Doctor was not a ghost. He did not allow himself to become a ghost to figure out what it was like to be a ghost and figure out how to save the ghosts from the inside. And the people that were actually killed and turned into ghosts did not get saved during this episode. The Ghost Doctor was a hologram projected by the Doctor from the past or something. I would explain that later. And then, so what? Okay. So at the beginning of the episode, after we got into Clara explaining some stuff, I forget what happened at the beginning exactly, but then the Doctor explained to the audience how the bootstrap paradox works, which made no sense because the previous part of this episode didn't have anything to do with the bootstrap paradox, indicating that the bootstrap paradox is going to be relevant to the episode that we were watching. So they were basically giving away the plot throughout the entire episode. I was just waiting for something to happen that didn't make sense, and I was like, that's a bootstrap paradox. The Doctor's going to have something to do with that, and so we all know the Doctor is always going to save the day somehow, but the reason we're still watching is because we want to know how he saves the day. If we know that the bootstrap paradox is in play, that means that something like the coordinates are going to turn out to be something the Doctor did, or the Ghost Doctor is going to turn out to be some sort of a hologram or some shit or whatever. And then the Fisher King the design is very cool. I like the acting he does, but he has nothing to do with the ghosts at all. He just made them for some reason, and again, no explanation is offered as to why. The fact that those are coordinates makes no sense because the coordinates refer to Orion, the star constellation, which does not look like a guy holding a sword from any point in the universe other than Earth, so that wouldn't make sense as coordinates. The the fact that the Doctor I like the fact that the Doctor explains the bootstrap paradox to the viewer, but that part should have come at the end of the episode, perhaps after he asked Clara who composed Beethoven's Fifth. That would have made more sense as part of a plot, and just but I do like but see that wouldn't have worked because then it wouldn't have made sense why there were suddenly guitars playing in the Doctor Who theme, which again I liked. I like that Peter Capaldi knows how to play the guitar. I like that the Doctor plays guitar as part of his thing. The 12th Doctor is like a very badass version of Matt Smith's eccentricities. He's all like, "Look at me, I'm actually cool," instead of just pretending I'm cool, making pretending to be cool by because I liked Matt Smith actually was cool by not caring who he was, but 12 is actually cool because he's doing cool things. But so I liked all of that except how it was done. And also we got to see the Clockwork squirrel that he made out of the radio, and I liked that too. But other than that, this episode was just a huge clusterfuck, and honestly, I was expecting that from the Dalek episode this season, because of the first Capaldi season's Dalek episode was the point when I decided that this was going to be a mixed bag of a season. But the Dalek episode was the good one, and this was just weird thing that was weird. And yeah, that. So I think those are all my complaints. Back to you, Mr. Chode. And might I say, nice bow tie.
Thank you. I got it from Lowe's. Okay, Rose, would you like to count for your counter now? Yes, I would. Thank you, Mr. Chode. And nice shoes. Thank you. Okay, so with The Walking Dead, I have a few complaints, and they're not really about this episode. I can't really find much to complain about this episode. I mean, other than the whole tone of the thing, I can't really find any specific complaints about this episode that doesn't apply to any given episode of The Walking Dead. So so what I will say is that it was that after last season where they spent the whole season killing off all the black men, they've brought in 2 more now, bringing the total up to 3, and that's nice. I'm hoping that they don't decide to just start killing all the black men in this season. It kind of sent a worrisome tone last season as they just started killing the black men. It was like, why were they doing that? It was kind of problematic. I know there were other people. I know that there were people on Twitter who were complaining about it, and I noticed it. And it entered movie trope level of that. And so yeah, I hope they don't do that with the new characters, and I hope that we yeah, I just hope they don't repeat that tragic decision from last season. I hope someone has a good stuff to when they start killing off marginalized characters. Someone will speak up and say, you know what? Let's kill another one of the white people instead. Just to make it a little bit less like that obvious. I mean, there were what was it? How many main characters died last year, Josie?
Mr. Chode, do I have permission to answer?
Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know. Back to you.
There was well, again, 3 of the black male characters were killed, and then there was that what's her name, sister died, and that was it in terms of the regular cast. I seem to recall there was they killed off 3 black men and 1 white woman that were part of the main cast, and that seemed and that just seemed noticeable to me. That was striking. That's really my complaint of last season, and here's hoping that they don't repeat that again this season. Back to you. Okay. Good. That's it. Do you have anything rebuttals to say about that, Joseph?
Yes, maybe. As for complaints about characters dying, I do agree that it is that there have been an unfair amount of black characters killed. Um, that as unfair as it is, it does add tension. That you watch a show like this because okay. Sorry, just I wasn't expecting any of this, and I've had a very stressful week, so allow me to collect my thoughts for a second. Okay. So you watch a show like this be being constantly worried that they're going to kill off a character that you like, it adds to the tension, it adds to the viewing experience. And while I do agree that it they should not actually be killing off black characters so often and with such bias, and it's very clearly racist, that they spent 3 years of the show adamantly sticking to a one black guy per cast season. That's not good. That's not good. But you have to think of it as it adds to the viewing experience that you're constantly worried that they're going to kill off these characters you like, even if it's because you want them to not kill these characters off because there just aren't enough characters like this specific character on television, and they just need to be there. Just I don't want them to kill off Morgan. I don't want them to kill off Noah, and I like Heath. That's his name. Um, and I don't want any of them to die, and I especially don't want them to die because they are black guys, and Walking Dead really needs to stop killing off black guys. The horror genre in general needs to just get off this idea that black people are expendable. It's very, very frustrating, and I can imagine it be even worse for actual black people. I cannot possibly imagine how horrible it must feel. But yeah, just the show really needs to stop doing that, and I hope these three characters don't die this season. I really do. But yes, there were. Um, I can't really think of anything else that you said. I apologize. My memory issues. I can only focus on really one topic, and that one really just stuck out for me. And Mr. Chode.
All right. So shall we continue on to the next course of action?
Yes, I do. And Mr. Chode, I apologize for not being able to properly coordinate this debate.
It's okay. I can't coordinate my bowel movements. Anyway.
You should try more fiber.
Perhaps.
I'll stop interrupting now. I apologize.
It's okay. Now, for the next question, I'm going to give you a specific question that I want you to both to answer about the shows. What is your favorite episode of your show? Josie, you have the floor.
Walking Dead is similar to Dragon Ball Z. I can't really think of it in terms of individual episodes. It's really just an entire season. I would say that this episode presents a standalone story that I can attach myself to, but it is the only episode that I can think of. Wait, no. The first season, the episodes were more standalone, so I'm going to actually say the first episode where Rick wakes up in the hospital and meets up with Morgan and ends up in a tank at the end. That episode sticks out in my mind also. But as for the rest of the show, I can't really split this show into individual episodes. It's really just an entire season tells a story. So, my answer overall is The one where Goku fights Frieza. That would be my favorite episode of The Walking Dead.
Okay. Now, Rose, what is your favorite episode of Doctor Who? Thanks, Mr. Chode. Well, first off, I'd like to say, Josie, that I agree. My favorite episode of The Walking Dead is the first one.
Oh, okay. I
Uh,
thought you were gonna say Goku versus Frieza. I am sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting, Mr. Cho. Do I get a penalty?
no.
Okay. Thank you.
No, you do
Thank you.
not. So, anyway, we have although actually what you described was actually the first two episodes. I seem to recall that the first one ends right before he meets Glenn. After he gets his horse torn apart. But yeah, it's then again, that also might not be in the first episode. I can't remember. I watched the first three seasons all in a row together, so I can't remember. But the first one with sticks out to me as well. That one is my favorite. But as for Doctor Who, my favorite episode is I would have to say my favorite episode of Doctor Who. Oh, my favorite episode of Doctor Who is. I'd have to go with the one with the planet that's like hell, that has the devil, the Impossible Planet. That one is my favorite. That and its sequel episode, the Satan Pit. Those are my favorite two episodes of Doctor Who. And comparing it to yours, I have to say, yeah, they're not comparable. They're very they're very different shows, and if we compare any of the shows of Doctor Who that are like that are kind of like Walking Dead in some ways, I think Doctor Who does not pull off the attention that a Walking Dead pulls off, and that might be for the best given the audience ranges. But yeah, that's my favorite episode is the Impossible Planet and Satan Pit. Back to you. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't watch either of these two shows, so I have no idea what either of you are talking about. It all sounds like rubbish to me. My favorite show is the 700 Club myself. I love listening to conservative blowhards speak. It's why I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Sorry, I flew into a ballistic rage when our coordinator here said he was voting for Donald Trump, and I'm good now. I think I only stabbed out one of his eyes. I apologize for that, Mr. Chode. I like you. It's just that when I hear vote and Donald Trump together in the same sentence, I can't see straight. I apologize.
Let me explain. When I say I'm voting for Donald Trump, I don't mean as president. I mean as the dog poop collector.
Ah, all right.
He would be great for scraping up dog.
Right. You're right. I apologize again for stabbing one of your eyes out. Would you like it back?
It's okay. They regrow.
Wow.
But really,
Are you?
I must say, Donald Trump being dog poop collector. Heck of an envious position.
All right.
I envy him. Now, anyway, the format for this next part of the debate is I'm going to give each of you a chance to explain why your show in general is better. Josie, you have the floor. Tell us why The Walking Dead is superior to Doctor Who.
As Rose said, the shows themselves aren't really comparable. They're very asymmetric shows, and that's why people get excited when I tell them that I'm going to have a podcast that's discussing both shows, because no one can really figure out how that's going to work. And I don't think anyone is expecting this to be how it's going to work, but the shows really aren't comparable, and I only really agreed to do this because I thought we were going to compare these specific episodes, because one was clearly better than the other as a form of entertainment. but the shows themselves are completely asymmetric. They cannot really be accurately compared.
All right then, Rose. Why do you think Doctor Who is superior to Walking Dead? Go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Chode. And Josie, I must say I agree with you that the shows are asymmetrical, but there is clearly one show that is better than the other, and that show is Doctor Who. And let me tell you why. British accents.
Ah,
British accents are amazing. You take a
yes.
British accent and it makes everything that much better, which is why, of course, the British episodes of Being Human were better than the American counterparts because British
Mm.
accents and also more competent writing. But other than that, I say that as if I watched the American episodes of Being Human, which I did not. But
I'm sure they're terrible.
probably. Um, but the British accents clearly make the show a step above, and also, might I just add, the crossovers in Doctor Who are amazing. I mean, I never expected. I mean, clearly the Star Wars crossover in this week's episode, but that was same is the same genre. But some of the crossover episodes that Doctor Who has done is quite incredible. I mean they're not even the same genre. I mean when Doctor Who went ahead and did a crossover with Waterworld. I mean, that movie was incredible, but yet they had the courage and the foresight to do a crossover, a Doctor Who Waterworld crossover, and it was amazing. I mean, no one expected that. And when they went even further, it made the Doctor Who Waterworld crossover also add a third crossover on top of that and make it a Doctor Who Waterworld Clash of the Titans crossover, and they had Liam Neeson come out as Zeus and release the Kraken, and they had Kurt Russell and David Tennant fight a Kraken together on motorized jet skis. I mean, I mean, you can't do that in Walking Dead. Walking Dead is very linear. You can't do something outlandish like Doctor Who can with its cross time and cross universe things. So really, I mean, Kurt Russell and David Tennant fighting a Kraken together with Liam Neeson. I mean, that's just unbeatable television right there. So really clearly, Doctor Who has the advantage in that regard. Thank you, Rose. Now,
Oh my god. Anyway, I'm gonna cut out the laughing because that wasn't. Anyway, Mr. Chode, you were saying.
yes, as I was saying, hold on a sec, Mr. Chud. I just like to say one more thing. Go ahead. Although I have to admit, when they had Samuel L. Jackson in The Walking Dead, and they had him playing Mace Windu and slicing zombies. That was great. When him and Rick were going there, I mean the fact that they kept the gun. They didn't give him a blaster. They gave him they let him keep the proper gun from the time period, but they had this juxtaposition of having a lightsaber, and you just have Rick and Mace Windu standing back together, surrounded by zombies. With the juxtaposition of a gun in Rick's hand and a lightsaber in Mace Windu's hand. I mean, you got to admit that was also one of TV's greatest crossovers.
I want that. I want that.
And
Mr.
also
Chode,
just
Mr. Chode,
showing zombies at each
Mr.
other was
Chode, may
amazing.
I interject that I would love that scene as a poster? May I just interject with that, Mr. Chode?
Yes, go
I don't
ahead.
really have a choice now that I've done it, but yes. Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you, Rose. It's just that I had forgotten about that episode. It had completely slipped my mind, almost like it never happened. But I would really love that scene on a poster. So if somebody would like to make me a poster of that scene and send it to me,
I suppose they could just share it on Imager and send it to link to you.
yes. How can you not get excited when you realize that you have Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead on a crossover with Mace Windu, and they're fighting zombies? How badass is that? It's a shame though that they killed Mace Windu off because of course they did.
Well,
Samuel L.
I
Jackson
have
was
to
too
agree. I
expensive.
have
They
to
had
agree
to.
with you because I also too get excited with long phallic-shaped objects, and nothing gets me going like a nice hard lightsaber. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Okay, now for the final round of for the final round of the debate, I will be letting you slinging mud at each other's episodes. So Josie, tell us what your least favorite part about Doctor Who is. Go.
Um, about the show itself or the way the BBC has handled it?
Whatever.
Um, I'm gonna say the way the BBC has operated the show over its lifespan. The way they would just destroy old footage to make room in their not just of Doctor Who, but of all of their shows. There is a large chunk of the BBC's library that is just gone forever, and Doctor Who is no exception. The second Doctor in particular has been hit very hard with that. There are very few surviving Doctor Who episodes featuring the second Doctor, Patrick Troughton. So we have the audios for all of the missing episodes, and the BBC recently released the final missing episode of Doctor Who on DVD. So now it's possible to partially complete a collection with all of the missing audios, but the episodes, the visuals of the audio themselves, the actual video part of the episode is gone seemingly forever, because film degrades over time. So if it's not kept properly, it's gonna be decayed by now. So yeah, but then there's the fact that the Daleks were independently owned by their creator, and unlike every other creator that owns their own properties, Terry Nation was kind of a dick about it. Once he actually gave the BBC the rights back to the Dalek, he stipulated that they had to be used frequently. And once Doctor Who was brought back, it was actually like mandated by Terry Nation's estate that the Daleks had to be in one episode a season, and that the episode had to have the Daleks in the title, spoiling the presence of the Daleks in an otherwise very suspenseful episode. Like, uh, let's see. I'm trying to think of an example of an episode that would have been improved by not having to include Dalek in the title, but I can't right now. Um, and then we get into even deeper shit with the production. Stephen Moffat has recently said that no, they are not actually mandated to include to include a Dalek episode with Dalek in the title every season. So either he is lying to protect he's either lying for some reason about this thing that is still real, or it is not, or the Terry Nation thing is not true, and the BBC is just fucking up Dalek episodes for no reason. In addition, Stephen Moffat just like doesn't. Okay, so like, okay, not maybe Stephen Moffat, but the BBC. So like, they have Neil Gaiman, who is a novelist. He writes novels. They have him writing Doctor Who episodes, and they're very good. But he is a novelist, so his scripts tend to be very long. Every episode that he's written has actually been meant as a two-parter, but they won't give Neil Gaiman two-parters. So while The Doctor's Wife turned out very well as a single-parter, The Nightmare in Silver was actually very scatterbrained and not very good, in my opinion, and And that was him, and it was meant as a two-parter. And also the Cyberman, like the new Cybermen, met with the old Cyberman at one point, and they merged together. So that's why the Cyberman in Pandorica Opens behaved similarly and had similar tech to Mondasian Cyberman, but it used the old Cybus logo, which confused a lot of people. I thought it was obvious that the Cybermen just merged together. They're basically the same thing. So yeah, and like I do like I do like how Doctor Who goes about filling its own plot holes and inconsistencies, but there are still a lot of inconsistencies that they do need to take care of that they haven't yet. And also, they seem to be really, really adamant about the Doctor being female, and that upsets me, even though it does seem very likely that the next Doctor will actually probably be a woman this time, and that may have been planned since the 90s, because Stephen Moffat's been loosely basing his Doctors off of a parody he wrote in the 90s, and he wrote that as and he wrote that the next Doctor after 12 or 13 would be a woman. I forget the numbers because the numbering got really confusing with the John Hurt thing, and especially that was confusing as hell. But that wasn't the BBC's fault. John Hurt's Doctor was written in because they couldn't get Eccleston to return for the 50th anniversary, because they had treated Eccleston like assholes. They had been huge assholes to Eccleston, so he wants nothing to do with the show anymore. And they only recently got him to agree to license his likeness for comic books, but he still won't return to the show because his experience working on Doctor Who was just so awful, because the BBC was still coming off of this idea that nobody liked Doctor Who, and they actually only brought Doctor Who back because of the Terry Nation Dalek thing. They'd actually licensed a cameo of a Dalek in a Looney Tunes movie in 2003. And they weren't actually allowed to do that because they didn't own the Daleks. Terry Nation did. They are allowed to license the Daleks to cameo and shit, but only if there's a currently running Doctor Who show on air. There wasn't, and so to avoid legal trouble, they needed to bring Doctor Who back. So they already hated the show for whatever reason they canceled it for originally, and now they hated it even more because they were basically mandated to keep making this. But then they realized, oh shit, we're making a ton of money off of this. Let's keep going. So they treated Tennant much better than they did Eccleston. So that's why they got Tennant back for the 50th anniversary. But Eccleston was my favorite Doctor, and he hates the show now because the BBC were just such dicks to him. And it all comes full circle. The BBC has been running the show very badly, and I'm surprised it's still on the air, and I'm surprised it's going to continue to be on the air, because this is a very good show for all of the flaws that go into its production, and it's probably going to go on forever at this point. There's really no reason to cancel it unless you're an idiot like the BBC was, and I try not to say idiot, but I've already been talking for so long that I have forgotten how to breathe. So I'm gonna just I'm just gonna leave the mic. I'm just gonna drop the floor to the bass now with the sexy rhymes and the hot stuff. None of that made sense. Mr. Chode, I think I'm done.
Okay. I have to admit, I wasn't really paying attention after you discussed the Cybermen bonding, because that just got me thinking of two hot metal men grinding against each other, slapping it.
That does sound pretty good.
Slapping
That does sound pretty good. I'm gonna look up a Cyberman porn parody while Rose is...
Slapping
Okay.
it. Okay, Rose, tell us why you think The Walking Dead bites a big one. And if you will, please include homosexual references.
What?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chode. I'm not sure how to process your demand there, but I'll give it a go. Okay, so now I'm shocked. I'm just shocked by what I'm hearing from our moderator, demanding references to
I do
from what sounds like so he can masturbate. I'm floored. I'm
I
stunned.
do have some suggestions, if I may, Mr. Chode.
Please give them all to me. Give them all.
While the episode didn't, that's another drawback of the episode that must have slipped my mind. This episode did not actually feature Aaron's boyfriend at all, and that bothered me, but only subconsciously because I didn't notice it. Now that I notice it, it bothers me. But yes, you can mention Aaron and his boyfriend. I think the character's name is Aaron.
I'm sorry, but I've started imagining. I've googled. Like I said, I've never watched these shows before, but I just googled The Walking Dead, and I saw Rick Grimes and Daryl, and now I'm imagining them kissing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Daryl is actually a.
Thank
Oh,
you.
sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Toad. Again, wow. Okay. I don't know how to go with that. Okay, so I guess I have to slag off the. Did you say jack off? No. No, Mr. Chode. I said slag off. Oh, okay. Oh, jeez. Okay, so I guess I have to sling some mud at The Walking Dead. Well, that's not very easy for me to do because I have terrible taste in television shows, and I don't totally. I'm not very good at analyzing.
There are no flaws with The Walking Dead except the ones I've specifically mentioned. I apologize for interrupting again.
Let's see here. I think I had something to say about The Walking Dead. There's
I win.
Oh, actually, oh, that's right. The biggest problem with The Walking Dead, in my mind, is have you heard of the YouTube channel Bad Lip Syncing?
Oh no, I haven't, but I know what you're talking about.
Yes, they had a bad lip sync of Walking Dead where they did a music video.
Carl Papa.
Called Carl Papa.
I remember that one.
That has not been infused into the show at all, or made official in any way, or done some sort of spin-off thing of advertising, and that is a travesty. That needs to happen because Carl Papa is amazing, and Joseph, do you think you can link that to the description when you put this?
I've already unzipped my pants.
Okay. It's not exciting.
I'm wearing a dress. Sorry. I wanted to make a joke, and that was all I could think of because of all of the sexual comments that Mr. Chode has made that are not appropriate to a political debate, young man.
I'm 30. Okay.
I'm a time cat.
But yeah, that's my biggest concern about. That's my biggest problem with The Walking Dead is that they haven't incorporated Bad Lip Syncing's Carl Papa into that, because that was amazing. And maybe at one point, when one of the characters is sick or whatever and has a high fever or something, they can turn it into a Walking Dead musical episode, and where the character is just having a fever-induced hallucination the entire time. And that would be pretty swell because having zombies and the main characters dance around, maybe bring a few of the cast back that are already dead, because since they're be completely and they can have a whole Walking Dead musical episode, and it will be ridiculous, but that's what these kind of musicals usually are. And yeah, they should do Carl Papa, and they should do a musical episode.
I want to hear Daryl's singing voice.
Yeah. Yeah, he can complain he can sing all about how Konami ripped screwed up Silent Hills.
Oh, Mr. Chode, I just thought of a thing that was relevant to a previous part of this debate. I think it was one of the rebuttals or something. I don't recall. Sorry. Yes. The British accents. I remembered. Andrew Lincoln, Norman Reedus, and Lenny James, the actors who play Rick Grimes, Daryl Dixon, and Morgan. I don't remember Morgan's last name. I don't know why I even introduced their last names. Fuck it. They all have if not they either have British or Australian accents. Uh, and they are told to do Southern accents on the show because for some reason because this show takes place in the American South, so it makes sense. But at the same time, you're telling these guys who have the coolest accents ever not to use them. What are you doing? That's not good. Have you heard Andrew Lincoln speak? He sounds like badass. But yeah, and Norman Reedus also sounds really cool. And okay, so like Lenny James sounds completely different. I, I refuse to believe that his voice isn't dubbed unless he's just a very good actor. I'm sure he's a good actor. Of course he's a good actor. We're watching the goddamn show. He learned how to use a bow staff for some reason. I'm not. Oh, that was right. Right. I thought of another thing. I actually wrote down some notes, and I gotta bring them up now. I wasn't expecting this to happen.
Well,
Wait.
well, actually, you can get to it in the after the debate because I think I'm finally ready to make my ruling as to which show is better.
Wait.
All
But
right.
wait. But my thing was relevant to the show. This will change. This will
Okay, go
change your
ahead.
entire opinion of reality itself and also the shows.
ahead.
I actually got caught up with The Talking Dead in preparation for this podcast. The talk show companion piece to The Walking Dead that where the extra time slot goes because the first season episodes were longer. Anyway, and one of the quotes was Chris Hardwick asking one of the producers, "Will we ever discover how Morgan became a bow staff wielding Zen master?" And Scott Gimple's reply was, "We will. I'm not making a joke. For real, it has to do with cheese. Actual cheese." Chris's response was, "Does the cheese have an arc?" And Scott Gimple's response was, "It is an arc, but is constrained to one episode." Which means that Morgan is a bow staff wielding Zen master powered by cheese. I have blown all the minds. Good day to you.
And I think I just blew my load. Okay, so now I am ready to rule on which show is the better show.
Mine, right?
And
I win.
now, Josie, you've been discussing The Walking Dead,
I have.
and Rose, you've been discussing
She
Doctor Who.
was?
But clearly, in my mind, the greatest show is Naruto Shippuden. Good night, everybody. Good night. Okay, what? What? Naruto? What?
But Doctor Who has the lightsaber duels. And my show has whatever it was that my show had because I've already completely forgotten. What show is what
I know. I think he's gone. Mr. Chode, are you there?
what show
No, he's gone already. I don't know. I don't know what gives.
What?
Apparently, anime one.
what animated Disney movie am I in again?
I think he said Naruto Shippuden.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
disagree.
Rose,
think,
Rose,
I
Rose.
think both shows are better
Rose,
than Naruto.
Naruto Shippuden has a ninja with a basketball for a head and an eye patch. Your argument is invalid.
Good point.
And I think he's the main villain, I think. My knowledge of Naruto comes from a secondhand source from almost 10 years ago, so I have very little knowledge on the subject, but it's my understanding that there is a ninja with a basketball for a head that is the main antagonist of Naruto Shippuden, and therefore Naruto Shippuden wins. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We'll go with that. How about we go with basketball heads for the win, or really any character that has a ball shaped head, or rather that has a ball for a head. To win.
Hey
That
Arnold.
way we can
Hey Arnold for best. Hey Arnold for best poke for. Hey Arnold for best Digimon.
But then again, the tick had a guy who had a little chair for a head.
But it's not a ball.
But it's a chair, and a chair is even stranger
Hey
because
Arnold.
it's
Hey
not
Arnold
round.
for best Bakugan.
Very good. So anyway, I wanted to say a few things about the Walking Dead episode. Now uh, uh, um n- uh so last week, actually, what I wanted to talk about was the Talking Dead. They had a question last week where they asked the audience who they thought honked the horn. Now their preview seemed to give us a hint on who it really was, and that's kind of
I
strange.
haven't watched the previews, so I am intrigued.
But before I saw the preview, my guess would have actually have been the pastor.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
Because the pastor seems to be the only person in the group who wants to cleanse the entire group, who would want to cleanse the entire group, because he wanted to cleanse the rest of the group because
Gabriel is.
and it's
Gabriel is a douchebag.
so, he seems to have deemed Rick's group impure, and since since the head of the other group didn't agree with the purging of Rick, he seems like the kind of person who would just try to purge them all and die himself, because that's just the way they've kind of framed the character, and that's another thing I don't particularly like as the last season is they pretty much set that we pretty much know he's gonna die.
I kept thinking he was going to be the antagonist. He hasn't. I'm pretty confident they're going to keep him alive, if not just to become a series protagonist, a series antagonist.
You think he'll join the Wolves?
Probably.
Although then again, I can't imagine him liking the Wolves, but then again but then again, if he joined the Wolves, he'd probably try to make them mutually self-destruct,
Yeah, this.
because that just seems like the kind of character
I'm
he is.
very interested in seeing his character, because usually when you have a character like this, they're either clearly against everything that's going on, or they're actually not a douchebag. But this guy is like complicated and confusing and makes no sense, and is
Well, they've kind of made him a religious.
And speaking of
right. And Gabriel is best Pokemon. Yes, I.
But yeah, I'm very looking forward to if you haven't seen the preview yet, I won't tell you about the preview.
No. This is a podcast. This is a podcast specifically to hype up for the next episode. So hype me. Hype.
Well, then the preview showed the young girl, the one that Carl seemed to have a thing
Oh, her.
for,
Yes.
walking into a car, shooting the zombie that was by the car, or killing the zombie that was or at least closing the door behind it. I don't remember if she killed him or not. So she entered the car, and she was in the front on the driver's side, before the clip ended, and the time frame, yeah, it didn't show what time it is, so it very well could have been the time when while the events of the last episode were going on, and I don't know why she would honk the horn. She's a mysterious character, and she seems very upset about things. Last season, she seemed very upset about things. So maybe she does it on purpose, or maybe there's a zombie in the backseat of the car that they didn't show in the preview, and she gets bitten and falls forward onto the horn. I don't know, but the fact that the preview showed her getting into a car by herself while wandering outside of town kind of gives me the suspicion that maybe it was her.
I hope not, because if it was her, then that means that next week when we do this, I'm gonna be on the side of Doctor Who, because that's not a good plot development. I was hoping.
Unless it is, and it tells us more about the tragedy that's gone beyond this. With this
I was
character.
hoping it was gonna be some asshole doing some asshole thing. Now I'm a disappointed. I'm a disappointed kitty.
And also before we cut the show, I'm very excited about next week's Doctor Who. The girl who died, or the woman who died, and the sequel, the woman who lived, because clearly this is foreshadowing that the next two episodes of Doctor Who are going to be Walking Dead crossovers. And
Woohoo! Mace Windu!
we're going to see the that would be a Star Wars crossover.
Well,
So we're
Mace
gonna
Windu,
see,
Mace Windu
so-
was in The Walking Dead, remember? Yeah,
True.
yeah, and I want somebody, please, just take that scene and make a poster out of it and put it on Imager, and then I will frame that in my apartment when I get an apartment when Social Security gets their heads out of their asses and gives me my money because I am broken and need disability benefits.
Yeah, good luck with Social Security taking their heads out.
I have a very long list of things that's probably wrong with me, and a very short list of things that they verified, and on that list is spontaneous loss of consciousness. They're supposed to have approved me by now, but apparently I don't spontaneously loss of consciousness hard enough.
Actually, I've heard rumors that that they deny everyone.
Yes,
initially
they deny
because-
everybody initially because it saves money on the budget if they don't approve everybody who technically qualifies.
Yes, it sounds like people who don't support. But that would be going into politics, and I have very strong opinions about.
Yes,
People who screw with welfare programs like Social
yes,
Security.
I would say we should save it for the post show, but it might take me a while for me to make the post show. So unless we actually have something we want to talk about that isn't like time sensitive, then
Yeah, I think we're just about ready to finish up
Yep.
the show. Actually, I wanted to say but next week, clearly with the titles, they've got with the woman who died and then the woman who lived. Clearly, the first episode, this character is going to die and then come back as a walker in the second episode, and we're just going to have a whole mess of Doctor Who versus zombies. So that should be exciting, and since you heard it on the internet, it must be true.
yes.
So people at home listening to this, or wherever you listen to it, I said it on the internet, so it must be true. So look forward to the Walking Dead Doctor Who crossover episode this Saturday, tomorrow, on BBC.
Hashtag Trump for Poopsmith.
Yes. Hashtag strong for Poopsmith.
No. Okay. No. Wait. Was that wait? Okay. I know I know the Poopsmith is a homestead or anything, but was Strongbad running for the actual position of Poopsmith? Should I go with what was it? Poop cleaner? What?
Strongman Poopsmith sounds like the name of a character who forges swords out of poo.
Okay. But
So
it's
that would actually
it's
be,
not really clear what the Poopsmith actually does. He's just
Well, it's like a blacksmith.
no.
only
They
make swords and shields.
No,
out
the
of poo.
Poopsmith is a real character from Homestar Runner. It looks like he's the guy who cleans up the poop, but who's pooping outside besides the king of town?
Rogue Star.
Rogue Star? You
Don't ask.
Oh wait, okay. Yeah, so hashtag Trump for whatever. Anything but not president. Poop cleaner. Poop
Hashtag Trump for pooper scooper.
Hashtag Trump for poop guy.
Hashtag Trump for poop guy. There we go. Yeah.
No, I'll go. No. I will go back and I will find out exactly what Mr. Chode had said, and that will be the title of this episode. Hashtag Trump. Hashtag Trump for whatever Dr. Chode said.
All right.
Also,
So-
Mr. Chode is a doctor now. He got his doctorate while I was talking. That's where he went. He had to go to college. He had to go to 16 years worth of college in the last 20 minutes.
He probably bought his degree online.
Yeah, he probably drew on it with crayon. He's not a doctor. He's just
Or finger painted. with
okay.
poop.
So he's not actually a doctor. He's just a guy. Yes.
He's just a guy who's really concerned about ethics. in
Yeah,
video
and
games.
don't tell him he's just a guy. Otherwise, he'll exile you from town
Fly away like a bird. Woo!
or exile you from town or something.
Yes. So anyway, how about we close up the show here? Do you have any last words on the show?
Hamburgers. That is my last words. Hamburgers.
Now I'm hungry for hamburgers.
I'm on a
All right,
diet,
then.
so I haven't actually had a hamburger in My memory doesn't work, so
Let's just say forever.
my memory doesn't work, so I should actually stop saying things like that. Like, I haven't had this thing in this long because I don't know I don't know how to time. Um I know today I had fuck, what did I eat today?
Wibbly wobbly.
Wait a minute. I write down what I eat. Okay. I actually write down what I eat. For the last month, I've been writing down what I eat. I can just search. I have not had a burger since before August. Wait. Yeah, no. I haven't had a hamburger since before August 26th.
I can't even remember the last time I had a hamburger. I would like a hamburger. All right, so
I actually because there's a douchebag circulating a McDonald's diet now, and that made me really crave some Burger King. So I'm probably gonna get some Burger King. Wait, no, I don't have money. Okay, well, fuck it. I'm gonna get a hamburger from the dollar grocery store that I can pay for with EBT tomorrow when I'm out buying tissues.
or a zombie burger.
Burger King actually has a zombie burger, sort of. It's
really?
not really. It's a hamburger, but it's got black food coloring in the bun.
Oh.
And
For
and
Halloween?
yeah, for Halloween. The gimmick is kind of odd because it would be more Halloweeny if it had like wasabi sauce or something green, but it has A1 sauce, which looks like blood. I guess is the thought process, but see, we are already
really.
expecting red sticky stuff on a hamburger, so like maybe green would have probably been more spooky. Especially since this concept actually did come from Japan, so I would have expected wasabi sauce.
Wasabi.
The
I'm not sure the the average American palate would like wasabi.
I like wasabi sauce if there's not enough of it that I can actually taste. It might have actually been good on hamburgers. I'll have to try it sometime. But the black food coloring in the Halloween Whopper was actually squid ink in Japan. Again, we're not doing a post show, so like we should probably end the podcast now before I get hungry. I'm already at 1,500 calories, so I can't eat anymore tonight.
All right. So take care, Josie.
Good night. Good night, talking hamburger.
Good night. Take care.
Yes.